if you are ready, we are ready, and we hope that we haven't detained you, and we hope that you can make your deadline and keep this in the spirit of a very tragic day in which one of the leaders of our nation has been felled. Now, what I would like to do is introduce to you the primary purposes was to give the full support of our board of directors to our president, Reverend Dr. Ralph D. Abernathy, in whom we have complete confidence, and to throw the full weight and support of the board behind him and behind the Poor People's Campaign. I'm pleased to present to you all the members of our administrative committee who are present and are engaged in these deliberations, which we think will continue for the balance of the day. Reverend C.K. Steele of Tallahassee, Florida, our first vice president. They're standing, most of them are standing here. Yes, it is. No, this is the administrative committee, 10 members of the board that act for the board during the interim. I beg your pardon?
Was there any vote taken exploring that?
Not that would be of interest to this group. Let me present now the president of the Southern Christian Leadership Conference, Reverend Dr.
Thank you very kindly, Chairman Lowry, and ladies and gentlemen of the press. I'd like to read this statement, and after which I will entertain questions from you. I regret the resignation of Mr. Bayard Rustin as coordinator of the June 19th Solidarity Day March in Washington in support of the Poor People's Campaign. We have had a minor misunderstanding over the goals of this campaign. Mr. Rustin, in his call for Solidarity Day, stated goals which were not as comprehensive as the previously announced demands of our campaign. There was never any question of Mr. Rustin receiving my official approval of his authority to organize the June 19th march. The Poor People's Campaign is so important in dealing with our national crisis of poverty, violence, and oppression, and there are so many Americans who support this campaign and who want to come to Washington to express their support, that we must proceed with the June 19th mobilization. I wish to announce that I have invited Mr. Sterling Tucker, Executive Director of the Washington Urban League and a consultant to the National Urban League, to be coordinator of the June 19th Solidarity Day. Mr. Tucker is out of town today, but I have talked with him, and all indications are that he will accept this position as soon as he can clear away some prior commitments. Mr. Tucker is no stranger to the Southern Christian Leadership Conference and the struggle for freedom and for justice. He has been with the Southern Christian Leadership Conference on many of our major movements, including the Selma to Montgomery March, the campaign in Birmingham, Alabama, the Mississippi Meredith March. He was with us in Memphis just prior to the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King, Jr. And he has been a staunch and hard-working leader in support of the Poor People's Campaign, serving as coordinator of the Washington, D.C. mobilization for June the 19th. He is an able, experienced, and absolutely dedicated leader in the human rights movement, and I know that he can develop a successful Solidarity Day in Washington on June 19th. Students, if they are in.
Dr. Abernathy, were the Mexican Americans consulted on this move?
Yes, we have consulted with all of our minority groups.
Reverend Abernathy, could you tell us what are the real problems of maintaining unity? What are the problems? There's obviously more behind the pullout of their rustin and my misunderstanding. Could you explain what is the problem of unity in the political campaign?
Well, whenever you bring together people of various ethnic groups and geographical boundaries, of course, there are bound to be some minor problems. And this is all that we have had. As I said in the beginning, these are problems within the larger family of the Poor People's Campaign. And we are not going to let any of these problems take attention from the real issues which we came to Washington to deal with.
Isn't Mr. Rustin's withdrawal going to cost you a lot of support from labor and other civil rights organizations?
I think that the people who are concerned about poverty in this country and injustice in this country will stand with the Poor People's Campaign, because I don't think that they are wrapped up in personalities. They are wrapped up and dedicated to a cause. And unless we do something to put an end to poverty in this country, then poverty is going to put an end to us.
What's your reaction to the belief held by some quarters that only Bayard Rustin can bring off such demonstrations peacefully?
Well, this is why we have decided that we must go on with this campaign in light of the fact that we know and we do believe that we can have a nonviolent demonstration. On the whole, the demonstrations up to this point have been nonviolent, and we do not doubt that at all for June the 19th.
What specific?
Be the final event of the campaign in Washington?
No, it will not be the final date of the campaign in Washington unless the Congress has satisfied our demand.
Can you tell what specific action do you want which Mr. Rustin did not outline?
Well, in the demands which were outlined by Mr. Rustin, these did not cover all of the demands of the Poor People's Campaign. For instance, nothing was mentioned in these demands concerning the wall. Now, those of you who have known Dr. King know very well, as he conceived the Poor People's Campaign, he was very much concerned about this whole question of the wall, because in order to have an effective war against poverty here in this country, there must be a de-escalation of the war in Vietnam. Also, undoubtedly, Mr. Rustin was not aware of all of the minority groups that are participating in this campaign, and none of their demands were included in those which he released to the New York Times on Sunday. Yes, Jack.
You weren't planning, though, to ask him to resign. He resigned.
Yes.
Right? Did you ask him to stay on after he announced that he would resign?
Of course I asked him to stay on.
But you would not, what was it that you would not agree to?
There was nothing that I did not agree to. Mr. Rustin just decided that he wanted out, and he resigned.
But you wouldn't give him this full authority that he asked for?
No, I have never limited Mr. Rustin's authority. There has been no conflict whatsoever between us. You know that a statement was made to the press concerning Mr. Rustin and by one of our staff members. And of course, Mr. Rustin felt that in some way this was limiting his authority. And of course, he resigned.
You emphasized
Did you
that
give
you
any
will...
kind of approval to his statement that he released to the press at all? You said you didn't give official, formal approval, I think. But did you give any kind of a that's okay or something, statement like that indicated to him that he had your approval?
All I can say is that the statement that was issued to the press, I had not had an opportunity to go over it or to study it. I had not seen it, and I was not familiar at all with its contents, and it was not called to my attention.
Have you talked about such a statement?
Had you talked about such a statement with him previously about him issuing such a statement?
No, we had talked about a call, yes.
Mr. Abernathy, is there anything in the Rustin statement that is objectionable to you personally, or is it the component group that is looking at
As you know, I am here on behalf of poor people, and I'm concerned about the demands of the poor people. In my estimation, these are very minor differences, however. They were not major enough for any type of resignation. We were willing to live with them and iron them out. But when a man resigns, there's nothing that you can do about it.
Would you get us clear on one thing, though? He
Yes.
asked in his statement yesterday that you would give him the full authority, and he said that he would leave if you didn't. Did you then tell him you will, and he resigned anyway?
Mr. Rustin has not asked me
Only
to
the
give
first
him
time.
any full authority or anything so far as that matters, and I have made no comment contrary to what has been written in the press. I have made no comment concerning limiting Mr. Rustin's authority or disagreeing with him on the demand.
Well, this is all very confusing. Why then, in your estimation, did he resign?
Well, I do not know. You may contact him. He's in New York.
He set a deadline for 12 noon today to meet certain conditions. Do you feel he met those conditions?
Well, he did not make that deadline with me, and I've learned a long time ago that you can't believe everything you read in the papers. So if he had a message for me, then I thought that he would contact me. Wait, pardon me just a minute. I felt that he would contact me just as I would contact him if I had a message for him.
He said he tried to. He tried to and couldn't get you on the phone and couldn't get you anywhere.
Well, I certainly do not doubt that. A lot of people call, and I'm not able to be reached. I imagine you have called me. I guess you have.
I've had a lot of
Yes.
Reverend Abernathy, you keep stressing that you will stay here until you get satisfaction from Congress. What specific act do you want Congress to pass to satisfy the poor people?
Number one, human survival. We are here on this whole question of living. Unless people get food to eat, they cannot live. They cannot survive. And instead of dumping the food into the rivers and in the oceans and burning it up and plowing it underground, we feel that it's